Hello and welcome back to the Movie Pope podcast. And today we are going to be taking a look at the teaser trailer for Agatha All Along. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Agatha Harkness, she was the main villain or the secondary villain in WandaVision,
Yeah.
and even then she was a very inconsequential character to the show because she really didn't do much, really. Because if you think about it, the real villain of WandaVision was dun dun
Wanda.
dun. Exactly, Wanda Maximoff. I think it's safe to say we're a little bit curious to see how they're actually managing to pull this off, especially since Agatha basically got her mind wiped by Wanda at the series finale. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in.
Another beautiful day.
Surprised to see you out here, Detective. Jane Doe, found her down here by the water.
Cause?
Blunt force trauma.
What happened to you? I have a lead in the case, but can't shake this feeling I'm seeing it wrong.
Is this really how you see yourself? That witch is gone, leaving you trapped in her distorted spell. Claw your way out. I miss the glory days.
She took every bit of power I had, but I can beat that witch again. Well, the gang's all here. Let's hit the road. I'm gonna walk the witch's road. The road is
What is any of this?
It's a very good question.
Join me.
I don't know.
My brain's hurting. I just can't even fathom what I'm witnessing. I guess they're trying to really be like, oh, witches, Halloween.
Right mind would join Agatha Harkness's coven. Not looking for right-minded witches, as it happens.
No. 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 No.
Sweetheart?
No.
You okay? Oh my god! Whoa! What's she doing? Where's she going?
Nope. Nope. No. 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 That. I'm sorry, but no. So okay.
Is your brain hurting, Lee?
Yeah, my brain is hurting hard on this. Okay, so number one, nobody cares about Agatha, right? Her
Exactly.
character was totally pointless to the story. I mean, even the WandaVision story of a whole was, at best, subpar.
Well, see,
Like-
here's my confusion. So we know basically Wanda, was the villain of WandaVision, right? So was Agatha supposed to be like her foil or what? Because I'm still confused as to what her role was in that series for them to warrant, we should do a series for Agatha and see where she goes from there.
I have
Because-
no idea. I didn't even know her character was that important to the overall story, other than the ending, where it just
Neither did
kind of
I.
like, we needed to have somebody to fight, so I guess Agatha will be it. And I will say this: I've put out much of my memory of whatever happened in the WandaVision show because I thought it was just a pile of garbage.
Mhm.
Now I will say, at least for like the show, not to be totally, not to totally rant on it. Like there definitely were some interesting elements for how they wanted to present it. So kind of having, the show cast in different, eras and decades was at least something that was like, oh, that's interesting, but everything else was utter garbage, including the conclusion of it, which is like Wanda's been pretty much like brainwashing everybody and keeping them hostage because she can't deal with her emotional problems, which I think kind of is a huge issue for how you want to like represent someone that was a hero or was a good guy for a long time.
Yeah.
So I won't get into that tirade, but like I could care less about Agatha. I could care less about her character, and just like looking at that just looked absolutely cringeworthy. There's just absolutely nothing of value other than the fact it was coming out in October. Is like, oh, witches, they come out in October. Let's just make this some seasonal thing. But it's just
it's kind of like
it's
what,
just
what they
noise.
did with Werewolf by Night. Remember?
It's just
Years ago?
content. That's yeah, good example, right? So it's just content. Like there's nothing of value of it. It's not going to be like, oh, people can be like, oh, Agatha was this great character all along. I don't care about Agatha. Like I barely care about like you almost barely care about Wanda at this stage with everything that happened to her. So I don't know how I don't know who's thinking about these things, but I think you're going the wrong direction here. I have very little interest in this, and I bet it absolutely gets flamed when it comes out. So go ahead and mark it now. That's gonna have a lot of people riled up saying that this is just utter noise. It's nothing that's adding anything into the Marvel universe.
Well, one correction. It's supposed to premiere in September.
Oh, is it September? I'm sorry. Where did I say October? Am I going crazy?
I think we got thrown off because of the fact that it was witches, and she was looking at that name, at that tag on the corpse's foot, and it said October 13th. So
Okay, so I apologize then. I've been going on my October tirade, and I already forgot in the 2 minutes we watched that it wasn't being based on that time frame. But I guess, well, if it releases in September, at least go through October, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, technically you're right on that one.
we'll be in October release for some of it, but yeah, I can't fathom the decision making process for this. It's like you want to create like these characters are not interesting enough to just want to constantly create these stories. Like just it's not good. Like sorry, like we cared about Iron Man, we cared about Captain America, like we cared about some of these characters, but a lot of these other ones we don't care about. And this is absolute character we could give two shits about. So stop trying to milk this longer. You're just making people dislike the Marvel universe because we all remember what we had, which was some really good films with a really intense climax. But you keep just trying to remake it, and you're just trying to hopefully latch onto something, and like audiences just don't care anymore. So I have absolutely no interest in this. I'll be very curious what first reactions are to this. I imagine it's going to be largely negative, or if it's not negative, it's going to be like, well, it's harmless, but it's not anything good or worthwhile.
Yeah, it's really not adding anything to the overall Marvel narrative. But to your point earlier, before we started recording, I mean, that's the issue with Marvel overall. It's the fact that they've decided every little thing has to be put out there, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, because at least in the early years of Marvel, like they created stories that that were significant because they interconnected somehow. They when you put them together, they told a much bigger narrative. Here, it's like they're just going off tangents for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
I mean, did we really need an Echo series? Well, apparently we do, because why not? Did we need to learn about the Skrulls invading Earth in Secret Invasion? Well, not really, but Samuel L. Jackson needs a paycheck, so we'll sure we'll do that, and we'll kill off Maria Hill for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just gotten to the point where Marvel is now this huge bloated behemoth that's where it's more common to have these misses than it is to have a hit. And obviously Deadpool and Wolverine's coming out this week, and we're really excited to see that. So hopefully it'll be the the bright spot of the summer. But that's also the tragedy, is the fact that it may be the only bright spot from Marvel this year.
Yeah. Absolutely, because it's not gonna. I've seen a lot of people. I don't think Deadpool Wolverine by itself, even if it's a great film, right? And I think that's a bigger and bigger if every day that goes by at this stage, because we keep seeing them wanting to push out all this. Just noise, because that's all it is. It's not. You just want to push out content because you got Disney Plus out there. You need to have some new things on there to get people invested and to keep their subscription. So that's what this is really about. And like I said, even if Deadpool and Wolverine is fantastic, I think that there's so much people just don't have any faith in Marvel anymore that even if it's great, it's not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things, right? It's just going to be like, well, at least we had that final hurrah type of situation as we go back to whatever miserable thing Marvel tries to put out where it's thinks it's good, but it's really just not.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that could make it even richer is the fact that there's a teaser trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. So once the full trailer comes out, we'll definitely do a reaction to that. But it's just one of those things where it's like they just have to keep it going, because if they don't, then what's the point of anything?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like, yeah, I mean, I would say most people really like Steve Rogers, right? We all got used to that Captain America. That was who we wanted. Now it's like you keep trying to force someone to take up the mantle, but it's like they're always going to be compared to somebody, right? And I think that's the problem that you have is like you just want to. It's like trying to do a remake is what you're trying to do. You're just trying to be like, okay, well, we have the old Captain America. Now we're just going to remake it with a new one. People don't want that. Like, that's not what people are invested in. Like, I don't care about Falcon and his plight to get it, right? We already saw a whole TV series about it that was pretty lackluster and forgettable. Would probably call it bad at a certain extent. But, like, you keep wanting to peddle this stuff out, and it's like, people have constantly said, no, this is not what we want to see. But you just keep wanting to force it down our throats. So I don't know what's going to happen. I will say that at least it looks like in the very little we saw with that teaser trailer for what you're referencing, at least there's like a hint that, it's Falcon maybe wanted to find his own path, which I think would be interesting because I think that at least shows like you want to make this character more than what he is right now. And hopefully you do that, because if it goes back to, having to pick up the mantle or pick up the shield in this example, I think you're just going to find a whole bunch of unfavorable feedback from people that just don't want to see someone else being Captain America. Like, no one wants to see a new Iron Man, right? Like, we don't care. Like, all that stuff with whatever the character's name is. What's the character's name that is like Iron Man Light, the girl that they're trying to push?
Oh, Ironheart.
Ironheart, thank you. I was about to say Lionheart. Ironheart, right? Like, no one wants to see that, right? Because we already had an Iron Man character. That's the Iron Man character we liked. Anything else is just going to feel like a copy of it. Like, even if it's a great actress, even if it's a great role, like, you're just going to always find this unfavorable representation of trying to rehash a character that we've already identified and that's relatively beloved, right? So I just think it's always going to be bad. So we'll see what happens. But for this show, I really couldn't care less about Agatha, and I can't envision this being anything worse.
Well, that will do it for our reaction to Agatha All Along. Let us know down in the comments below if this is a series I guess you might be excited to see, or more understandably, if you're just going to pass it as you would with any other show from Marvel these days. But for the Movie Pope podcast, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.